Hello, my name is Robert Cotter, and I'm here today to talk to you about a business idea that is applying for a microgrant through the Jim Moran School, designed to treat an optical condition called ectropion. Ectropion is a condition that affects millions of Americans each year, generally the elderly populations. What happens with ectropion is the ligaments in the lower eyelids tend to oxidize over time, they weaken, and they begin to sag. This causes the lower eyelids to flip outwards, which affects the tear ducts. The tear ducts can't function properly because the tears are not trapped by the lower eyelid, so they run down the patient's face. Now, apart from being annoying and a little bit embarrassing, what it does is it causes the eye to not be lubricated properly, which can lead to corneal abrasions and ulcers, and eventually it can lead to different degrees of vision loss, which is very significant for these patients. So it's a very serious condition, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of effective treatments that are really available to this older population. So today, the really only ways of treating ectropion are through lubricating eye drops, which have to be applied 5 to 6 times a day and are have different degrees of how effective they are, especially because the eye drops can't even be trapped because the eyelid droops, and so a lot of the eye drops fall out. I'll spare you some of the actual, more, not as pretty images of the actual condition, but the only other option is surgery, which is not very attractive to patients over 75 years old. So I've paired with a doctor, Dr. Lee Smith, down in the Palm Harbor area, who's had an idea for several years now of how to treat ectropion without some of these damaging side effects of eye drops and of surgery. He has come up with the idea of a small, simple foam device that would be adhered to the lower side of the eyeglasses of these patients and would cup the lower eyelid back up towards the eyeball in its proper position. So these are some kind of rough prototypes of what the shapes of the device would look like, but it's very, very simple. All it would do was cup the eyelid in a kind of a form-fitting manner. That's why we're choosing a foam material to work with, and it would be gentle enough to keep the eyelid in place without distorting vision. It would be a very impactful change because, as I mentioned, over 10 million Americans are affected each year, and that number grows by 500,000 individuals a year. So what's next? We're applying for this grant because we would like to use the money to pursue a biomedical engineer who could find an approved material by the FDA that we could use to build a prototype and apply for future funding, which we could use towards a provisional patent application. Dr. Smith has met with hundreds of his patients. He sees about 5,000 patients a year, 1,000 of which have ectropion, and he's kind of collected quotes from a few of them. As you can see by these quotes, a lot of the patients would have their quality of life significantly improved by having a device that could effectively fix their condition without any of the harmful side effects of surgery. I've also met with various entrepreneurs and residents here at the Jim Moran School who seem very excited about the idea and urged me to continue investigating it, and so I hope that with their backing and with hopefully some funding from the Jim Moran School, we'll be able to really make an impact in these people's lives and create a successful business model. Thanks for your time.